Now, another edition of Romero on the Right.
Today on Romero on the Right, it may seem like I'm a bit distracted, but I will have to read from some notes and some Facebook posts, otherwise I'll lose my place. And I will try to avoid being inflammatory today, but I just want to show you how some people react to things that are posted on Facebook. I don't know if you've had the occasion to send someone an email or a text and they misconstrue what you're actually saying and get upset with you. I posted this Facebook meme and I will put it up here on the screen as I read it here. If violent crime is to be curbed, it is only the intended victim who can do it. The felon does not fear the police, and he fears neither judge nor jury. Therefore, what he must be taught to fear is his victim. Supposedly said by Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Cooper. I say supposedly said because you can't tell with Facebook these days. But anyway, I posted that. And I had some friends who agreed with me, and I had some friends who did not agree with me. And one friend in particular who did not agree with me, I really wish I could bring this up fast enough. My friend, who is an African American, well-educated, college graduate, military man, just a brilliant person, and he and I just never discuss politics. We discuss our hobby, which is other things, okay? But he posted, "I'm more scared of whites killing unarmed black people. Fear is all you seem to propagate. If you still want to call this country the United States of America, you have to become united. You can't hate everyone, or can you?" And I'm like, what? I wrote back to him, every day I read stories on the radio about local shootings, and more than 90% of them are black on black crimes. And he wrote back, "Not surprised at your response." And I'm like, what? And a couple of my friends were like, what the heck is he talking about? And he wrote back, and he wrote back, and I'm going to give you some of it. "My problem is that the news rarely posts stories of violent white crimes, gangs, etc. My issue is what the underlying meaning of statements by this Cooper guy and people like him. Like I said, I'm not surprised by your response. The ones who carry out multiple gun killings are white males. That's a fact. Theater killings, office killings, church killings. Blacks have a problem getting guns legally, even open carry. There's so many reports of blacks who legally carry guns being harassed, threatened, even arrested for legally open carrying." And he goes on and on. And I went over to one of our sister stations here to talk to one of our younger brand managers. And he is African American, he's white, he's Indian, he's quite a few different nationalities. He calls himself a Creole. So he's got a pretty good grasp on this thing. And I read this to him and he's like, what the hell is he talking about? It's like comparing Fritos while you're discussing ice cream. It just doesn't make sense. And the young man is absolutely right. And my friend that started this goes on and on with more comments about blacks and whites. People blame blacks for drugs, yet we all know who brings them. We also know who gets taken down and charged more heavily. The legal system is not fair in the least. I have more issues with whites in my area doing crimes than blacks, but I don't blame all whites. First off, he lives in a very affluent neighborhood of a much larger city outside the state of Louisiana. But he says, I don't blame all whites. And even if you carry, the felon won't warn you when he will kill. The intended victim are all of us. My fear is that most whites who carry are more apt to shoot first out of fear than anything else. There have been more and more familial killings than ever. Don't believe the Wild West attitude will save the day. And, he goes on, when people spout Christian values, where does it say to arm yourself in the Bible? I'm not talking about common thought. I'm talking about actual biblical scripture. I read all of this and just in amazement and shock that he would come out with some of these comments. I just could not believe it. But it just goes to show how two relatively intelligent people, myself, I'm, stretching the truth there, and this gentleman who's my friend, he's African American and I'm not. We looked at the same post and saw it differently, completely. So you can see how people can get into arguments and probably pull out handguns. But this thing about blacks not being able to buy guns legally, not true. If you're not a felon, you can walk into any gun store and buy a gun legally. If you're a felon, you can probably go to every street corner in America and buy guns illegally. That's the problem, and the fact that we don't teach people the value of life. And God, we shouldn't read Facebook, I guess. This is just getting too weird for me. Like I said, I didn't want to be inflammatory, and I went a little bit longer than usual. Thanks for watching. There should be a little K in the screen there. Click on it. You should be able to subscribe that way. Thanks again for watching Romero on the Right. See you next Friday at 5 p.m.